Hello and welcome to yet another session of Writing for Academic and Professional Success. We were dealing with Unit 7, that is Writing for Professional Purposes, Part 1. We have already completed the reviews and case studies. So let's move on to the next session, that is report writing or reports. Well, what is a report? You must have heard of the word report. The common reports that you must have heard of are news reports and progress reports, I think. News reports are about reporting an incident or dealing with an issue. It is usually factual. They present facts about certain problem or issue or an incident. That is a news report. You must have read in newspapers. Another report that you must have commonly heard of is about a progress report or the report card you get from a school or college at the end of an academic year. There, your marks are reported, your grades are recorded. It has details about the next class which you are going to be promoted to, the division, class, division. Remarks of the teachers are there. It is signed by the head of the departments, like a headmistress, principal, vice principal, and they have acknowledged your grades or your marks. So that is a report card or a progress report that you get from an academic institution. So these are common reports that you must have heard of. Now, what is actually a report? A report presents specific information and evidence. Specific, particular information and evidence. Evidence എന്താണ്? തെളിവാണ് evidence. എന്തെങ്കിലും തെളിവുകൾ അത് present ചെയ്യും. It has a format. A report has a format. Format has a fixed structure. It has sections and headings. A report has sections, that is different divisions, and headings, that is titles and subtitles. A report is usually applied to a problem or an issue, and then it is addressed for a particular audience or particular readers. So this is a gist about report. Let's familiarize ourselves with the learning objectives of reports. The first one is gather and evaluate information. Gather, collect. Evaluate, you judge something, judge the information, or you value, try to find out the value. Evaluate, in that word there is a word value. So you find out the worth or you judge the worth or value of something is evaluate, rather judge. So evaluate means judge. So you should evaluate the information. So the first learning objective is gather and evaluate information. Second one is structure the material in a logical order. So the report you are writing, it should have a proper structure and it should have a logical order. The statements should be logical. Third one, make conclusions. You should arrive at proper conclusions. You should conclude the report. Fourth one is make practical recommendations. You are recommending something, you are suggesting something, and that too with proper supporting statements. You are recommending something practical, possible, something which is convenient or possible or feasible is practical. So the fourth learning objective of report writing is make practical recommendations. Let's get to know more about the structure of a report. The main features of a report. The structure of a report and the main features of a report, both are one and the same. You have to give the same answer for this question, I mean. So the first one is title page. What is a title page? Title page describes the purpose of the report. Why was this report written? The purpose. It should include the name of the report, the date of the report, and for whom the report is written. Name of the report should be mentioned in the title page, date of the publication of the report, and for whom the report is written, for whom the report is aimed at. That you should mention. So the first one, title page. Second one is the terms of reference. Terms of reference can be in the form of a subtitle or a paragraph. Terms of reference gives you a brief explanation of the audience, the purpose and the methods. The audience for whom the report is written. The purpose, why the report was written. And the method of the report is how the report was written. So the second feature of a report is terms of reference. The third feature of a report is summary. Summary of the report is otherwise called abstract. A summary or abstract describes the content of the report. What the report contains, the content of the report. It covers the aims of the report, the findings of the report, and also further action based on the report. Length of the summary can be half a page. Readers get an overview of the report once they read the summary or abstract. That is, they get to know an idea, things in a nutshell, or they get a gist of the report once they read the summary or abstract. The fourth feature of a report is contents. You must have seen contents in the introductory section of a book. There will be a page on contents of a book. So naturally, as you all know, contents lists different chapters along with the chapter headings, and corresponding to the chapters there will be page numbers given. A reader can locate a particular part of a report with the table of contents. That is, whatever you want, you can locate that particular part once you read the contents. So the fourth one is contents. The fifth feature of report writing is introduction. You know what an introduction is. Intro or introduction. In the introduction, the objectives of the report are explained. Objectives, the aims or the goals are explained. Also, the limitations in the report is also mentioned. Limitations, certain areas where the report has not given much importance to. That is the limitations. Then, in the introduction, research methods and also the parameters of research are discussed. You know what a research is? Now, what are parameters of research? Parameters are the limits of research, or the extent to which you can go about. That is the parameters. Limit or the extent to where you can go. That is the parameters. So, research methods and parameters of research methods are mentioned in the introduction. Also, background history should be included. Background of the report, the history of the background of the report should be included in the feature of introduction of a report. That is the fifth one, introduction. We are moving on to the sixth one, methods. That is the next title or next feature, that is methods of report. Method is a way, you know that, you all know that. Method is a way. List of equipments used are included. Relevant information on the equipments and materials used are included. Along with that, the procedure followed, changes in the procedure followed, and also problems encountered while report writing. The problems you had to face while writing the report, all these are included under the title methods, and that is the sixth feature of report writing. The seventh feature of report writing, results. Results simply means the results of the investigation along with gathered data like diagrams, graphs or tables. You have to be careful about this, that when you present this gathered data, you should present it in a logical order. The eighth one is discussion of the report. The facts mentioned in the report should be discussed, obviously, with reference to the problem or issue. Again, this should be logical. So, seventh one, results, and eighth one, discussion. We are moving on to the ninth one, that is conclusion. A conclusion shows the overall significance of the report. Significance, importance, relevance, how significant the report is. Here in the conclusion, the central issues are highlighted. The central or the core issues are highlighted. The 10th one is appendices. What are appendices? Appendices is a plural form of the word appendix. Appendix, singular form, appendices, plural form. What are appendices? Appendices are supporting information or supplementing information. A supporting or supplementing information of a piece of writing or of an information or a fact. So that is appendices. Now common appendices are tables, graphs, questionnaires, surveys, transcripts. Tables and graphs, you know. Questionnaires, set of questions. Then surveys, studies conducted, and transcripts are written or printed version of a material, something that is quoted. So these are appendices, that is supporting information or supplementing information, which is the 10th feature of report writing. Next one, 11th one is bibliography. You must have heard of bibliography. A bibliography lists all the published resources in your report, that too in alphabetical order. So, bibliography is simply references or resources used in your report, and it is listed in alphabetical order so that you can refer better, and that is bibliography, which is the 11th feature of report writing. The 12th one is acknowledgement. Now what is acknowledgement? You must have heard about acknowledgement card, acknowledgement letter. That is, it accepts something, accept that something is true, that is acknowledgement. So here in a report, when you acknowledge an organization or an individual, you acknowledge their assistance, that is their help. The assistance of organizations or individuals in writing the report is being acknowledged. You are accepting those assistance or help. So the 12th one or 12th feature of report writing is acknowledgement. We are moving on to the last one, 13th one, that is glossary of technical terms. What is glossary of technical terms? Glossary is simply a list of technical terms with description of each term, a clear description of each term. Also, it should be in the alphabetical order. Explanations of acronyms, abbreviations and standard units is given here. Acronyms and abbreviations are short forms, and standard units are units of measurements like kilogram for mass, ampere for electric current. All these are examples of standard units. So a clear description of all these terms, technical terms especially, is given in the glossary of technical terms, which is the last and final one of the feature of report writing. Features of report writing. Types of reports. In the work scenario, there are 3 different kinds of reports. First one, recommendation report. Second one, evaluation report. And the third one is feasibility report. So, recommendation, evaluation and feasibility report. Let's discuss those reports one by one. Let's get started with the first one, that is recommendation report. So, what is a recommendation report? A recommendation report compares 2 options or more than 2 options. Now, these options can be products, properties, plans or organizations. Now, after comparing 2 options or more than 2 options, what will you do? You recommend either one option or several options or none of the options. One option can be, when you recommend one option, it means that's the best one in the industry or which exists, that's the best option. If you recommend several options, it means that there are several good products or several good properties or plans, but all those are good depending on your requirements. Third one, if you recommend none of the options, it means that none of them are good, none of them suits your requirement. So, when you recommend something, that is, it can be, as I told you, product, properties, plans or organizations, you can recommend either one option, several options or none of the options. For example, a company might be observing a grammar checking software. It wants a recommendation. The company wants a recommendation. And as a report writer on this project, you are asked to write a report. You could study the market for the type of application, for the type of software. You will have to study the market and then recommend either one product or several products or none of the products. If you recommend one product, it will be the best one. If you recommend several products, there are many good products and you can select one depending on your choice. If you recommend none of the product, which means that none of them suits your requirement. So, that is it. There is a sample report on buying a laptop for SBI, and that is given in your textbook. The sample report. You should recommend for the purchase of a quality laptop for the bank, that is SBI, and you have to write a recommendation report on this. Do have a reading of that. Another example is if you are a student in Calicut University and your department is planning to buy a digital camera. So, and suppose the director asked you to write a report recommending a good digital camera. You have to detail all the kind of cameras available, digital cameras available in the market, and recommend one amongst those. The second one is evaluation report. What does an evaluation report do? What is the purpose of evaluation report? Evaluation report compares individual products, properties, plans or organizations. It compares individual products, and after that it makes an evaluative judgment. It makes an evaluation. What's the evaluation? As I told you before, evaluation is assessing the value of something, judging something. So it makes an evaluation comparing these individual products. An evaluation report provides an opinion, that too a studied opinion, whether a particular product is useful, good or worth it. For example, to discuss an example, let's discuss this plan. For over a year, students of Kozhikode city had exclusive, student only, free bus transportation for over a year. Why was this plan implemented? This was to increase attendance in classes and to reduce the use of bikes. Did this plan work? You need an answer to this question, right? So an evaluation report would answer this question. That is, the report, an evaluation report will evaluate this plan and give answers to your question. The next one is feasibility report. Feasibility. Feasible. What is feasible? Feasible is practical or possible or something done easily, conveniently, for our convenience. That is feasible. Something practical. So, the purpose of feasibility report is to know whether a project is possible or practical. We should tell the readers whether a project is feasible. That is technically, socially, economically, administratively and environmentally. This report, that is feasibility report, studies a situation, that is a plan for doing something, and then determines whether the plan is feasible, whether it is practical or whether it is possible. The feasibility report answers the question. And what is the question? Should we implement the plan? Will that plan be feasible or possible or practical? So that is feasibility report.